Hey y'all, welcome back. Thanks so much for stopping by. My name is Crystal, and yeah, it is that time of the week. We know what time it is, the weekly reading wrap up. And I want to say hello to any new folks that have subscribed. I've got a little uptick in the numbers, so thank you and welcome. Thanks for stopping by. And yeah, weekly reading update. So we're just going to jump right in to the books that I finished last week, a couple that are still in progress. You know, we know the drill around here. So let's start with some books that I finished this week. Number one being Exquisite Corpse by Brite. I finally read this book and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. This was the March book club pick for Kelly from Kelly Hooked on Books' From Hell book club. And yeah, like I said, I'm just so happy I finally read it. It's been one of those books that like I've known about for a while, you know, that kind of thing. Just never picked up to read. You know, we all have those books on our on our lists, right? I need to read that, then I keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. Yeah, it's one of those books. But anyway, I didn't quite know what I would think about the book. I mean, you know, you'll hear things about this story, so I didn't know where I would, you know, how I would feel about it. But yeah, loved it. So, the gist of the story, we open up on this man who lives in the UK. His name is Andrew Compton, and well, he's a serial killer, and he has murdered over 20, does it say on here, over 20 sort of young men and men, and pretty brutal ways, and he's sort of finally caught, and he's in jail or in prison and everything, and then one day he escapes. We follow another man who seems pretty familiar, and wouldn't you know it, he's also a serial killer who kills, you know, young men in a pretty brutal way. But he lives in New Orleans. So, wouldn't you know it, their paths cross. And that's pretty much all I'm gonna say. It is very, very descriptive with the, you know, the violence, the murder, the viscera, the gore, the torture or the body, and all the body horror is in here. Everything that you could think of. But I inhaled this book in one day. Last Saturday, my husband and I, like, we knew the next few weekends coming up. We're just like one of those busy weekends where you got all these plans, we got things going on. Spring's, you know, spring is sprung, so we got things going on, right? And so we were like last weekend, well, we're not gonna do anything. And Saturday especially, yeah, we didn't do anything. Everybody kind of retreated to their corners and just entertain yourself, you know. And so that's what I did. I entertained myself with this, and I kept kind of picking it up, reading a chapter, and I made one more chapter, and I'd flip it through, and I was like, okay, maybe I should do something productive. And I'm like, oh, one more chapter. So yeah, until I just finished it, and I loved it. I just absolutely loved it. It was compulsively readable. I mean, it's gory and gross. That stuff doesn't usually bother me. It doesn't necessarily bother me in here. I mean, this is what the story is about. It's about these two killers, you know. But I really appreciated the commentary also of words. So, because this was written in 1990, what was the year? 1996. So there's a big discussion here about HIV and AIDS and how that has affected, in particular, the gay community. So a lot of that is brought up in this, the story, and even sort of overall sort of homophobic, you know, beliefs that some folks have, still have today. But you know, still in the 90s, it was, you know, still pretty rough out there. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it, because I feel like you just need to read the book. If you're interested in reading the book, you know, to just read it. Don't know too much about it. Just read it and see how you feel. That's my recommendation for it. If you wanna read it and just see how you feel about it. But I loved it. I really loved it, and I cannot wait to read more by Poppy Z. Brite. Faux show. So that was a great way to start off my week. And then like to something basically completely different. The first book that I finished for Middle Grade March, Sounder by William H. Armstrong. Now this would be the book to fulfill the prompt to read a book that was published before I was born. This one I was meant to look earlier and I forgot. It was 1969. Yeah, this was really good. It's short, but it's quite impactful. So we've got a family here. This young man here and his parents and some younger siblings. And it's like 19th century South. The father is a sharecropper. They're quite poor. And this is their dog Sounder, who is a hunting dog. And, you know, he goes off with the son. He's the elder son. And goes off with the son and the father to try to hunt so they can get them some food. They don't always have success. You know, a lot of times they're just not eating very much, you know, at all. So one morning, he wakes up to the smell of like sausage cooking, and there's a big glowing ham in the kitchen, and they're like, whoa, what's going on here? And they're enjoying it that morning. And then lo and behold, knock 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 on the door. Basically come the is it a sheriff? Is it officially a sheriff at that time? Yeah, sheriff comes in, is like, says that his father stole all this stuff. So his father is whisked away, and of course ends up imprisoned for many, many years. And who knows if he even really stole the stuff or not. It didn't really matter, because, you know, the sheriff basically believed that he did from the get-go. It's all that good stuff. So, you know, his mom and he are kind of left behind, trying to take care of things and earn some money, all this kind of stuff. It was a lot. It was a lot. Again, in this little book, there's a lot to unpack, and it was really wonderfully told, and yeah, I thought it was really fantastic, and I would recommend it very much. It's a good one, and it is on that Newbery list too. So, and you know, some people are like, well, are you worried about the dog? Okay, so if I will do a spoiler here, if you are concerned about the dog. So when my hand comes down, you can come back, okay? So spoiler about the dog. The dog in the very beginning, when the sheriff is coming to get the man, he does get shot. He does not die, but he goes missing for a while. He comes back. I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, so it's not like a sad dog story. Okay, so just so you know, I would definitely recommend it. I think it's a wonderful book. It's still very, what's the word I'm looking for? It would still be very, you know, for kids today, it would still be very educational and something for that they should read. I think the language was very easy to understand for me, and all that good stuff. So it would be for kids is what I meant. But anyway, I enjoyed it. Nice quick short one, and kicking off my middle grade March reads. So yeah, but yes, totally different from Exquisite Corpse. Anyway, what's next? I finished another audiobook. I've been dogging down the audiobooks lately. I finished book 3 of The Dark Tower, The Wastelands. Okay, and I loved it. Favorite so far of the series. Of course, I'm only up to book 3, but yeah, lots went on in this story. We kind of get more, you know, we just are with our characters more. You know, this is a 3rd book now, so everybody's kind of fallen into a rhythm, and and you know, getting connected, and you know, all that kind of good stuff. Some crazy stuff happens with like a demon. There's a train. There's like a robot train. You know, a character from, you know, book 1 kind of makes an appearance. Yeah, I loved this. I really liked this one a lot. So I'm feeling good about my Dark Tower read through, and finished that up, and it was great. So what more can you ask for? I won't say much else because it's book 3 of a series. I don't know. Don't want to say too much, but yeah, I enjoyed that. And then another Stephen King book, I finished Salem's Lot. This was our pick for the sort of Stephen King read along that happens over on Brad Proctor's Discord channel. Kelly spins us a wheel, and we read what the wheel says for us that month. So this month's pick was Salem's Lot, and it's another Stephen King book that I hadn't read yet. I know, right? So this was his second book he ever wrote. So I feel like maybe I should have read it by now, but I just didn't. It's just one of those I had got to, okay? But overall, I liked this one too. I mean, look at me enjoying 2 Stephen King books. Who would have thought? Sometimes, you know, Stephen King, you just never know. You just never know what you're going to get, especially with his old books. You know, you just never know. But I don't know, maybe most people know Salem's Lot, but just in case, this is set in a small town called Jerusalem's Lot, aka Salem's Lot, or sometimes just the Lot. And there's also this like old house that's in this town. Was it Marston House? That's like, you know, one of those old creepy houses that are in a neighborhood, right? And our kind of, I won't say our main character. One of our main characters is this man who's come into town, or back to town. I feel like he was there as a kid or something. I don't know. I can't remember now. But anyway, it doesn't matter. And he wants to write something about this house because something has happened with him when he was a kid, right? Now, but the first really half of this book is character development and setting the scene. We learn a lot about the people that live in Salem's Lot. We learn a lot about the town, you know, the stuff, and all that good stuff. All that stuff that Stephen King does, and does very well. It's done very well in here. And then, you know, of course, this is a vampire book, right? So these 2 men move into town, and they buy that old house, and pretty soon people start turning up missing and turning up dead. And so yeah, one of the new old men that come into town is a vampire. Spoiler alert. And yeah, it was good. Went some places I didn't expect. Some characters, you know, got killed that I didn't think would have gotten killed. So yeah, I don't know, I just really enjoyed it. And let's see, what else? I mean, I don't know, it's Salem's Lot. Most people know it. I enjoyed it, and I'm glad to have finally read it. I'm gonna leave it at that. How about that? What else? I've just recently finished where's my book? The Legend of Skeleton Man by Joseph Bruchac. This, I have a bind up of Skeleton Man and Return of Skeleton Man. This is a middle grade book, so another book off my middle grade March list that I had going on. And this was also a book that I had chosen for my Books of the Freezer challenge, so 2 check marks on that one. And this was really good. It's steeped in indigenous lore. Joseph Bruchac has written like 1 million middle grade books. He's a prolific author, and he is of indigenous heritage. Abenaki heritage, and this story in particular pulls greatly on that native lore with the Skeleton Man. Now, the Skeleton Man seems to be derived from Mohawk lore, and he's a skeleton man, like that, like that's who he is. And the story of how the Skeleton Man became the Skeleton Man is quite brutal. I won't spoil it for you. You should read it and check it out. But soon we have this little girl here who her father tells her about the Skeleton Man, and it's just something that, you know, these kids know of growing up, and kind of like the boogeyman of other cultures kind of thing. And one day, like, her parents, they just go missing. They've been missing a few days, and gosh, what's happened to them? So she is, you know, get picked up by social services, and wouldn't you know it, some stranger claiming to be an uncle shows up. But is he really an uncle? Sources point to no. But this was, again, really a lot of fun, quite creepy and dark in some places. Yeah, like, I don't know, maybe a little spooky for some kids. I think if you have a kid that maybe gets scared pretty easily, some scenes might be a little much for them, so maybe lean towards an older middle grade kid would like this, or if you have a younger one that just loves spooky stuff, they would like it, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know, I would recommend it. It's very good. And Return of the Skeleton Man, I mean, Skeleton Man comes back, so I won't say much else than that, but very, very enjoyable, and a really, really cool cover. So yeah, those are the books that I finished, and another pretty darn good week, if I say so myself. So let's talk about some things that I'm in the middle of. I'm still reading Dorothy Ellison's Trash for my short story collection for this month, and I'm still enjoying it. It's still sometimes really hard hitting. But yeah, I enjoy it. Good stuff. I'm still making my way through this poetry collection. I Become a Delight to My Enemies by Sarah Peters. This stuff is like, I think I say that every time, like, this stuff is good. It is sometimes really brutal and very emotional, and sometimes just a little strange. But I'm enjoying that. I did make a start on Black Leopard and Red Wolf by Marlene James, my buddy read with Brad Proctor, and I'm in it, man. I'm on like chapter 6 or 7-ish, and it was pretty good. I'm loving the African, you know, lore weaved into this fantasy story. We got this leopard man now who's like cool, and the main character, I don't know, he's something. What we call right here, he's something else. Okay. Yeah, so it's a bit of a dense book. Like, when I'm reading it, I have to kind of make sure that I'm paying attention, just because of the writing style and how it's written. But so far, so good. Yeah. Let's see. I did make a start on The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton, which I think I even forgot to mention in my TBR, because I forgot this was my book club pick for my little book club for my little book club that I have with my friends. And I forgot about it, but I got it from the library, made a start on it. It's a Kate Morton, so you know, it's a dual timeline kind of story, family saga kind of thing, and so far, yeah, I made it very far, but enjoying it so far. So more to come once I've read it a little bit more, and I just started Hello Universe, another middle grade book for middle grade March, and literally I'm on chapter 3, so not much to say about this one quite yet either, but those are my in progress books, and yeah, so I'll carry on with these for the upcoming week, and we'll see what all else we get into, right? I did get my book of the month selections. I got the Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. I like Simone St. James. I've read 2 of her books so far, and they are enjoyable, with like a little level of creepiness that goes through them. I like them. And then I've got the Cartographers by Pink Shepherd, which I'm really excited about. I mean, there's books on the cover, so you know, and yeah, so I'd like to read this. I don't know, maybe next month. I don't know. Woo, that's gonna do it. That's the week. So another busy week with reading, and actually more audiobooks. I've got one more week where I'm gonna kind of really be able to dive into audiobooks, because next week will be my kind of last week of my hybrid working from home. The week after, we'll be going back full-time, but it is what it is. I know it won't last forever. I'm happy to have gotten 2 years out of it. But yeah, going back to work in the office full-time soon is what it is, right? Let's see. I hope that you had a great week, great reading week. Let me know what you got into last week, and if you've read any of these, let me know. Let's chat about it down in the comment section. And as always, I thank you so much for your time watching me ramble on about these books. And until next time, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye, friends.